No, it's all good.
Welcome to Schmoes, the Schmoes of the North.
Yeah.
I'm Ben. I'm filling in today, but with me I have my co-pilot Ryan. How are you doing today?
Doing very good, actually. Anytime I love to talk about the Schmoedown, it's always a fun night, honestly. I mean, sure, everyone watching, you're expecting the Canadians to be here. We apologize. I mean, but you do have Canadian adjacents in myself and Ben. If you're not happy with that, don't worry. We're still going to keep you entertained here. But I'm doing good, Ben. You?
Good, good. We're also joined by ASG. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, doing well.
And we have very special guest, Amaru Moses. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. It's Schmoedown night, but it's very bright in daytime over here. So, but I'm with it. I'm with it. How y'all doing?
Yeah. Good.
We're doing fantastic, actually.
I think because you were us, you're going to start with your match. How does that sound?
Perfect.
No pun intended.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it was just a happy accident with that. It's obviously everyone watching here. We're going to be breaking down all the Schmoedown matches that's happened this past week, and of course, with Amaru, you being here, I mean, if you guys have not watched Amaru versus Moose Hoss, I'd say watch it for two different reasons. One, for the performance that Amaru and Mark that were able to put down, and two, for the surprised Mystery Science Theater-esque commentary we got from Mark Ellis and from Christian Harloff. But either way, though, I mean, yes, Amaru, you most likely, like everyone else, found out when that the sound for your match was missing. But even then, just your thoughts for that match breaking down in. I mean, after you did see Moose's matchup against Jacob Whittabin, so of course, seeing how well he did, just your mental state going in, your game plan going in for that match.
My game plan was kind of the same as it always is going into matches. I had heard how Moose had done, how he got almost a perfect round. Him missing a bonus question was like, okay, cool. So he doesn't know everything. But I really go into matches worrying more about me and my questions. And I'm usually more successful, and success can look many different ways. Success is pulling out a very, very ugly win against Jesse, or pulling out a 30-point record 3-round match with opponent choice. I really just go in worrying about that, and then as the game goes on, I see what do I need to do to stay ahead. But going in, I knew I had to have a better match. I knew that that Moose was going to be a very tough opponent. But first and foremost, I was excited to have another match. It had been a while. I was ready to go. So I was just happy to be back in it.
So congratulations on that record, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Double D on Jay Wade's channel yesterday confirmed it for me. So I'm going to hold on to that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is good because honestly, 30-point match, that is a rare feat in Inner Geekdom, honestly. I mean, the fact that you're definitely that match against Moose, the fact you both went perfect after round one really set the stage going on in there. But even then, just the fact when it came to the round two categories, you were able to really play it smart at first because on your first spin, I don't want to break down the entire match, honestly. It feels like we're just going to be wasting more and more time. But I did like how we were seeing some strategy going in here. I mean, both you and Moose were completely relaxed, not showing much of a care in the world, and you did show that incredible improvement. I believe that definitely you silenced some of the people who were doubting this whole pressure that's been put. That was what I say in air quotes, pressure that was put on you for being like the second round pick choice. And it was just kind of like, for me personally, anybody can have a bad first match. It's always how you recover or how you keep going after the next match. And you definitely showed. Sam not only was right to pick you, but he definitely had a lot of faith working with choosing you. Like he knew exactly who he wanted to work with.
I mean, yeah, you saw in my promo, I had to get the comment bingo card out. I heard everything. The not worth the number 2 pick, and again, I personally said I underperformed. But it was fun to see that type of stuff. I don't let it get to me, but I thrive off it at the same time. It just makes me smile, and it makes me happy to be like, well, just wait till my next match, see what happens. And I called it. I said 20 points or more and a win. And that's exactly what happened. So,
I mean, perfect. You can't get much better than that, right? I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, appreciate it. I was very happy, especially coming out after Moose had his second round spin. That I already was a little bit more relaxed because I figured we would both go perfect round 1 or close to it. But being only down 1 after his spin, I was like, okay, cool. I can play this. I can play the second round smart. I don't have to worry about getting every single answer right. I don't need to TKO him, even though I would love to. I just need to play smart, be ahead enough to get the win. So
I have a question regarding that. We didn't really get to hear everything. So what made you decide on opponent's choice to pick the category you did?
Oh, it's flipped. I got opponent's choice.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. He got Middle Earth. Okay.
He chose opponent's choice for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so he just got unlucky with the. Sorry, I forgot how that worked with him. But yeah.
He got unlucky.
I think
I was saying he got.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
One of the because he spun off of. Rephrase that. Gucci convinced him to spin off of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay, that's what happened. That's
I don't know why. I mean, Moose followed along. This is not the first match where fake Gucci Belt told somebody to spin off of something and it didn't work out for them. Not the first IG match that happened either. Because to me, yes, TMNT is a smaller amount of movies, so it could go deeper, but not many questions have been asked yet. So I really thought they were going to take Turtles, but they spun away. They got Middle Earth. I was like, oh, okay. I would have loved to have it. I would have loved to have it until I heard the questions. It was probably one of the tougher Middle Earth round 2s I've seen, because you had an Oscar question, which, I mean, we don't really study Oscars like that in IG. I mean, you try to look it over, but you're like, oh, when are we going to get an Oscar question? You get a 1978 Lord of the Rings question, and if you're not thinking about it, you forget 1978 gets asked about. And the first quote we both got wrong. We both were on the same mindset that it was the Witch King of Angmar's last words were "No man can kill me," but they said that was wrong. So I said "No man can defeat me," and we both were like, we both forgot that he says "Die now" right after the line everybody remembers. So.
That was definitely one of the drawbacks, unfortunately, with no sound there, because even when I heard that, I'm thinking to myself, isn't that exactly what he says? And then, of course, like most fans of geek movies, popped in Return of the King, and then we do it. Yeah, he says "die now" before Mary stabs him, and we're like, oh God. It's like one of those, like, you really gotta be paying attention to. But even then, with Lord of the Rings, or at least Middle Earth, it's a category that really hasn't been selected much throughout at least most of these current IG matches. We've seen a question from randomly come either in round 1, maybe in round 5, or in round 3. But so far in round 2, it's been rarely selected on. So I guess the mindset going in was like, oh, it could be a good mixture of some surface and deep cuts. But yeah, you're right. That was a very tough round 2 for Middle Earth. But then when you got opponent's choice, obviously, him deciding to give you
fantasy
sci-fi. I thought he was going to give you mixed bag, so it surprised me. I don't know if it surprised you.
It did not. It did not at all. When I saw the wheel, mixed bag is I spun away from mixed bag because it could go absolutely anywhere, and you don't want to get more than 1 or 2 questions that are just happen to not be in your wheelhouse, especially with double the amount of movies now. And no matter who you are, unless you have absolutely nothing to do, there are still movies you probably haven't seen up to this point. You're trying to knock them down as quickly as possible, but there, with 300 plus movies, there's movies you haven't seen. So I was like, it's like a round one, but it's a round one with round two type questions. There's plenty. There was plenty on that wheel that I wanted more. And there was literally one slice that I was like, you have to rank your slices. And the lowest slice on the wheel, it was the only one I was like, let's not get that one. And of course, I get opponent's choice. And I knew right away he was giving me fantasy sci-fi. So.
And to be honest, strategy-wise, it was kind of a bit of a smart choice on his end, because some of the fantasy sci-fi movies that came up really had to make you start thinking. Of course, Red Sonja, I'm like, wait, what? And of course, the Medallion, like what movie has a Medallion split in half? I'm thinking, I thought it was either Conan movies, but forgetting Red Sonja is like literally going to be like kicking yourself up against the wall. But otherwise, you did very well staying ahead. I mean, going to multiple choice when you had to, and staying ahead to where even though Moose sat you with opponent's choice, he didn't get much opportunities for steals. So you kept it a very tight knit close game to where you really had to force Moose to go into round three, because like most players, if you win by a knockout or a TKO, it's that point to where they're not really challenged yet. So knowing that you actually got to challenge Moose to see if he's that good of a competitor he is, it's like really, I think in my mind shows a lot of skill and knowledge and caliber of your as you as a player.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it was the one thing about it is, as soon as I saw that once he got that steal, I really wanted the 2 points in that fifth question, because then it would have me 5 ahead instead of 4. But I heard the question and it was like, I looked this up. I just saw this, but I need to see the name because it's not clicking. So once I saw Ving Rhames, I was like, okay, that's it. I'm up 4 points. I'm going to be answering my 5 because he's going to answer all 3 correct. It's going to happen. So I was a little like, man, I had all that goodwill going into my spin, but it kind of amounts to almost to nothing, because I'm going to probably have to answer my 5 either way.
Yeah. I know I'm talking a lot here, guys. Ben, ASG, you guys got some questions, or anything else you guys want to ask Amaru?
I mean, I can't think of anything. But
Okay, I got something.
after you.
Okay, so what's it gonna be like playing in a live match? Like actually getting to? Is this gonna be the first time meeting your manager in person? And are you excited for that?
I'm very excited because it's going to be the first time meeting anybody in person. The only person I have met in person is Jacoby. I was on a vacation in Vegas, so I actually got to meet him and hang out with him and another one of our friends, Jake Meltzer, for a bit. But anybody else, I haven't met anybody else in person, so that's going to be really cool to be able to meet them, meet some of the other managers. It's going to be cool to meet Saul in person. That's going to be a lot of fun. In terms of the game, though. It's not new. I have been in front of the lights in a studio answering pop culture questions before. I was on Hollywood Game Night back in 2016. I did very well on that show as well. So it's not nothing. It's nothing that's going to shake me because I've done it before. I've done it in front of a bunch of people in a live audience. And I'm going to take that as much as I took that. I'm going to just go in, have fun, and show off. That's what I'm going to try to do. So.
That is very good, honestly. And I mean, meeting. Of course, I was also going to ask about the collision as well. Knowing this is going to be your first pay-per-view match going up against Saul. I mean, of course, you're going to take everything as is. But looking outside as a player, going there in studio, what's going to be one thing you're going to be most excited about?
Being in the audience for the other match. I'm really excited just to be able to sit back and see what the audience is like to watch the team's championship, and to be able to like low key talk to people next to me, and just be able to have that feeling, not only as a fan, but as a competitor. Because I was at the live event in Atlanta, and that was amazing. But this is different. I like watching the old matches. I'm just like, it's got to be fun to just be in the studio and to just hang out and to watch these things. To be able to do that is going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, I have one question for you. Out of everybody, if there's one person you're most looking forward to meeting, who would it be? Not including yourself, because you're going to meet him.
Yeah, outside of my people, outside of the suspects, it's easy because, well, I would love to meet Winston as well. If he shows up, that'd be great. I don't know if he's going to be there, but the person I know is going to be there that I have been like, I've been telling him over and over, like, fam, if I see you at an airport or in a plane, I'm going to sit next to you. And then when I actually got to know him, I was like, I'm definitely sitting next to you now. I can't wait to meet Coy. Coy seems like the chillest dude. Like, we just would connect on absolutely everything. My brother Manny calls Coy his spirit animal. So I am just like, yeah, I am very excited to meet Coy. I'm also very excited to meet Bibbs. But Coy is definitely up there. And I'm going to be very happy to meet that man.
Yeah, if the right people win, you might be able to cut a live promo with Mike Kalinowski.
Man, that would be very cool. Be very cool.
Actually, yeah, there's just so much going in there. But but I know you have limited time with us. So I think right now, after your 2 matches, right now it feels like you are set with Inner Geekdom. It looks like it. I mean, win or lose with the Normal Contenders match, has there been any thoughts of you wanting to maybe, since they are going back, there's going to be more studio matches, but also Christian, he will be doing some digitals. I mean, it looks like more matches are going to be coming out. Does that open an opportunity for you to maybe want to play in other divisions?
I came in saying that I would love to play in IG teams or singles. With there only being an 8-team tournament, I don't know how many just regular teams matches they're going to be. I have let it be known that I would love to be on a team. I'm going to be forever salty that you and me and you, Ryan, Sexual Chocolate, the team of Sexual Chocolate never came to me. We were never able to actually play a match in the fan leagues, but Sexual Chocolate will live forever. But I want to take that. I would love to play teams before the end of the year. And if not by the end of the year, definitely going into next year. And in my career period, I definitely want to do all 3 of those divisions. IG will be the main focus, but I am great at teams and I'm pretty doggone good at singles. I can hold my own in singles. So you'll see me there one day, hopefully teams before the end of the year, but not too far out before you see me hit another division.
Having said that, in your mind, you have an ideal team structure that you're hoping to be paired with.
Okay, so ideal only because of, I think, the way we would be able to complement each other, and I feel like this is absolutely everybody's ideal partner. But it's Drew McWeeny. I mean, like, who doesn't want to be on a team with Drew McWeeny? I feel like I have a lot of knowledge that he doesn't. It is 100% fact that he has a lot of knowledge that I don't. I'd be very honest. My only low key worry is I hope not to bring him down. Because again, I am great at singles. I've been a movie lover all my life. It isn't just IG. And I can hold my own. But I know Drew deserves a championship belt again. And IG is the only place I'm saying I can get a championship before the end of this year. I can get a team championship belt, but that's not like my priority at the moment. But Drew would be ideal. I also think on the suspects, me, Frankie, and Paige are like this. We've been like this since the beginning of the year.
I was thinking the same thing as well.
Any of those two, same deal. Any of those two, we complement each other a lot, and we cover each other a lot. So there's plenty of people in the suspects that I'd love to team up with.
I can see you with Paige. I can see you two working well together.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And
Um,
I gotta ask, since you're here, not saying you have to cut a promo, but what do you think of Saul calling you the Ryan Lee for the Schmoedown?
I
Oh my
laughed
God.
my behind off. That was a great dig. I anytime somebody can throw a jab at me and it hits and it's good, I'm smiling the entire time. That's what I'm gonna be doing from here all the way through the match. I love Saul. I absolutely think he is a G. He is a legend. And the angrier and angrier he gets, the bigger this smile on my face is going to get. Because I am just like, yeah, come on, bring it to me. Because I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna answer questions. He's gonna answer his 5-pointer, and we're gonna have a good time. Or at least I will. I
listen,
will if he
if
doesn't.
Kate is also going to be in studio as well, we all know everyone's going to be cracking up with
Oh yeah,
Saul and
oh, yeah.
Kate together. That's just
But
going to be most entertaining duo.
That was a deep reference to pull, and I kind of stood up and gave the man an applause. So
As a San Diego guy, yeah, that was a good fucking pull.
so, real quick, this will be Thor's first time in our studio, right?
I think this is the first time he's going to be in studio.
Wow.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah, for
Wow.
anything. Yeah, because he came in playing right when the pandemic really started.
Yes.
So yeah, I know this is going to be a big time event for us.
He's great. I mean, you're going to do well. I want you to win, but he's great.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is.
Should we talk about the pay-per-view real quick while we have you? Would you mind?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of
That
sus
got us-
next week, so let's go.
Yeah, I'm about to say that got us to 3-0 this week, so I'm loving it.
What you guys thought on it real quick? Well, first, going into it, what are your thoughts on it?
I was really happy about, of course, the outcome of it. I knew it was going to be a really like drag out match. Once Ben missed the bonus question, I was like, all right, Ethan is chill 100% of the time. Like, no matter what is going on, the man is, in terms of wanting to win, he has a quiet intensity. Like, there's never any lack of wanting to win. But he's win, lose, draw, whatever it is, he's chill. He's having a good time. Even if he throws off the like, I'm feeling, if you can feel the tension from him, he's still chill. Once that happened, I was like, oh, he was good. He's good all the way now. And the fact that he had to check down, that he felt comfortable enough to check down for the Russia question showed me, he was like, he's definitely in the mindset of I'm not gonna lose this game. I'm gonna make sure I win it. I play it smart. And I could see the difference. I once Ben missed that question, I could kind of see he was really just trying to ham up his personality to get in Ethan's head. You can't get in Ethan's head. You can't. Even the challenge, you can't get in Ethan's head. That's what Sam is for. Get in Sam's head, let him blow up. Ethan chills out, man.
Yeah, the challenge and been like really using every bit of time on his round 2 questions and his round 3s. It's like Ethan just sitting there. It's like, okay, even before Ben missed that 5-pointer before it was challenged, he's like, okay, we're just going to sudden death. Like, I liked what you said. He's 100% calm, but he also was. I also saw the determination in him. Like, after that check down, he did find a small resolve in him. If he got some steals, perfect. If not, I had a feeling that this was going to go to either sudden death or Ethan was going to pull this out by Ben either missing a 3 or a 5-pointer. But we got to sudden death, and that was very good. It was a great. And the wrestling fan of me loves that it was a wrestler question that determined the match.
Second suspect match that week that a wrestler question determined.
Yeah.
In OT, in overtime.
Yeah, I think Peggy pointed that out. That the last, I think there's been 3 sudden deaths determined by a wrestler in a film question.
Real quick, what are all your guys' thoughts on that challenge? Why did it start with you?
Well, we touched a little bit, Ben. I thought it was a legit challenge that Whit brought up because even Ben, when he was repeating it, At first, I thought it was milking it, but on that second time he asked for a repeat, there was a slight change in his demeanor to where, okay, maybe he wasn't hearing the question right, or Mark's just not phrasing it correctly. It wasn't until after they said the answer, I went to my phone and I'm like, okay, Drive, for like Jack Nicholson directed films, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe Mark didn't phrase that correctly, and then the challenge comes in. Adam Witt brought up some great points. So did Sam as well. But Ben also said the first time he said it, it sounded like he was saying 3 different movies. And the second time, it sounded like he was saying 2 movies. So it just fell down to what the person was hearing.
Yeah,
and they acknowledged it.
Yeah. To me, it sounded like Ben didn't realize that it was 3 movies until like 3/4 of the way into Witt's challenge. Like that's how much he thought it was Drive as a separate movie, and that he was just thinking of the wrong Drive. And then it wasn't until some point in Witt's challenge he's like, "Oh, those were 2 movies, not 3." And
what are your thoughts on it, Amaru?
Yeah, so I went in saying it was a 50-50 challenge. Like, it was a very smart challenge to go in because I personally thought he was saying Drive. He said, and then when he finally switched the his syntax on it, I was like, wait, is he saying Drive? He said like it's 1 movie. So I see where it came from, but I'm with Sam, where if it was the other way around, we would done the same thing. Definitely challenged, but there's no way in the world we thought we would get it based on the fact that there's a whole other one. He didn't say anybody that is an Oscar nominated person. He didn't say the director of Drive, and he didn't say the correct answer of one of the movies who is an Oscar winning actor in Jack Nicholson. So there's plenty of stuff there. Like, we would have challenged because it's a smart challenge, but would have gone in saying we're not getting this, but we're challenging anyway just to see if we get it. And it just went their way. But ball don't lie. Rashid Wallace said it best. Ball don't lie. You came back, you still lost because you lost in the first place. So
yeah, I thought ball don't lie was going to be what was said, not the term that Sam used. But
Sam is a baseball fan. Sam is a 100% baseball fan. I will translate to the NBA fans here. And as a New York Knicks fan, there's no way I'm not quoting Rashid Wallace in any time, in any day.
Yeah. But I do. But one last thing I will say on it: the movies they did select was a very smart choice, because if in that question he had said the 2 Jakes, that would have been an immediate snap to Ben, honestly, because the 2
sequel
Jakes,
to Chinatown, right?
Yeah, sequel to Chinatown, and Nicholson directed that film, so that would have been an easy process of elimination. And of course, as a 5-pointer with the fact that it's a number 1 contenders match, you need to be challenging. So I don't fault this on anybody. It was just unfortunately
they should just reverse the order of the movies. So if they said Going South and Drive, he said, then there would have been only one and
true.
Just in hindsight, it's all that stuff in hindsight, but you do make up a very good point. But either way, it was still very good. I did like that. Even I guess this just proves with the suspect matches, or at least in any time in overtime. Study up on wrestlers, y'all. It's not just a category. It will determine you if you ever go to sudden death.
But I will also say, though, that's like the second time, if you think about it. Like Lucas Black in the Fast and Furious, that's an action movie. Expendables, that's an action movie.
I will give Ben some credit to the Expendables. Even though I'm a wrestling fan, I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin and Goldberg have been at times confused with each other to non-wrestling fans. And even when you do see them on screen, bald head, goatee look, so anyone could immediately, confuse them.
Yeah, for sure. I going into it, my first thought was Stone Cold. So when Ethan turned it, I was like, okay, cool. I think I'm right. And when he said Bill Goldberg, I'm like, was Goldberg in the films? And I didn't realize he was. So I like when Ethan was like, oh man, I was like, no, don't tell me he lost. But our music hit, I was like, okay, cool. I was right. He was right. We good. We good. We got another 4 points here. We go keep the streak going.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know you're on a time crunch. Anything else you want to wrap up real quick?
No, just thank y'all for coming out. The suspects are on a roll, and I can't wait to have more matches come out there to show. We had a slow start, Well, we had a fast start and a slow after that, but it's a long year, and our skill, our natural skill, and our players up and down are starting to show. And then other than that, I can't wait for everybody to see this live match. I think it's really cool that I kicked off the season, and now I'm also kicking off the first live match back, in studio match back. So that's a real cool thing that it's surreal. It's going to be really surreal when I'm actually there. But I'm excited to be there, and I'm thankful for y'all for inviting me on.
Nice. Thank you for coming
No problem.
on.
Yeah, same here. Thank you for coming on, man.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
You too. All right. So why don't we go to Wednesday's match now? Chess
I feel like we should close out.
Albert.
I feel like we should close out Suspects Week with that match being last.
Okay. All right.
But no, actually, you know what? It makes a lot more sense to go. Let's keep the train going. I'm sorry. That's just me thinking like, oh, let's continue this. Let's close out Suspects Week, but let's keep it going. Let's talk about, Schloth versus Alvarez. My bad, Ben. I'm sorry.
That's okay. All good. What are you guys' overall thoughts about this match?
I think they both did a lot better than they did in their first match, both of them. So it showed good improvement from both players. And yeah, overall it was a close match, very competitive. And I'm interested to see Alvarez versus the Rager, so if that ends up being the next match.
I'm interested in seeing that too. You are right. Jessica and Frankie showed great improvement from their first matches. I think this year all the rookies, they had this big hump because of the Schmoedown, how it was last year and in previous seasons when rookies come in, because rookies are kind of it's like the moment they debut, it's either their backs are against the wall or they're just here to play for it. Especially during the early times when Christian would like talk up a rookie, put so much pressure on the situation, and then they perform. So, and knowing this season, especially with how this was a more rookie drafted Schmoedown than it was last year, there really was a lot of pressure. And yeah, from Jessica's last match against Beth May and Frank's match against Brother Loomis, those two were kind of underdogs in their matches because Brother Loomis had a lot of fanfare because Christian just loved this character from the promo C would cut on the Facebook posts. And with Beth May, how we all know how she came into the Schmoedown as well. So seeing the fact that these two were able to overcome those two big personalities and now play up against each other, I liked how they were both really playing this game as not really underestimating each other. It was like a staring contest between the two of them. It wasn't like who was going to blink first, but who was going to last the longest.
What did you think, ASG?
They were, I mean, talk about contrasting personalities. You got Frankie, who I don't think he could stop talking for any period of time, and then you got Schmoes, who, you know, her promo was definitely one of the more unique promos we've seen this year. So
Yes, it was.
and then you get into the match, and as I said, like, you know, against Beth May, Schmoes had that double opponent's choice thing where both of them were, you know, we were unsure what we were going to get. Then same thing with Frankie. He had a big deficit going into round 3 against Loomis, where you had that what was the I Am Robot?
Yeah, I Robot
thing.
question. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Will Smith film, that direct,
Yeah.
that sci-fi film he was in, I Robot. Yeah, and trust me, when I watched that match, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" But then the fact that at the time nobody thought about it, and then of course the fans they make a big deal of it. I'm like, you know what? It's done. Moving on. I mean.
Yeah, but that just becomes what you think of Frankie Alvarez going into this match, and so they both kind of proved that they've, you know, they weren't just sitting around waiting for their next match. They actually like did some studying or did much preparation coming into this, so it made sense that it ended in the way that it did.
It did, and I do give lots of credit to Frankie. Like, he wasn't going to let, I mean, obviously when someone's paired to something, when they slip up, it's either, you know, they try to brush it off or try to, you know, not double down, but kind of like try to course correct. He didn't. He's just like, okay, I messed up. Let's see what I do now. And yeah, he did a very. I think he came out in the first round leading, and then he was able to really stay on top, like really doing a good job with Jodie Foster, which I've seen has been a very tricky category, especially with some of the veterans in the Schmoedown. Seeing that Frankie was able to really do a good job with it, and then even then getting all three of his. He got all three right in round 3, or he missed one. I don't want to obsess. I don't want to obsess over it.
I think, well, they both got equal. They went to sudden death.
Well, yeah,
they both missed their 5-pointer. That's what it was.
They both.
That's right. Now, yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, missing their 5 pointers, like that was really kind of like a good like nail biting moment. Even when they missed their 5 pointers, just like what we saw with Irwin, Bateman, and Amaru and Moose, they were not stressing out over it. It's like, okay, we missed that question. Let's see what happens next. And if Schloth had gotten that 5-pointer, we really would have seen a different story here. But we got into sudden death, and then Schloth misses out on that first question for Frankie to win. And it just goes to show you that. And I think one thing I do appreciate about sudden death is the fact they don't tell you what category it's from. You really have to listen to that question. It's there where you're really going to have to listen and focus on it. And with that one repeat too, because the moment that question said, the clock starts ticking, and it's kind of like between those seconds from the question spoken to that countdown. If it's not reaching to you, and if that repeat doesn't help you, you're kind of screwed in that situation. But even then, Jessica definitely. I keep saying this over, and I'm almost repeating myself, but Jessica really had a great improvement. I mean, yeah, she got opponent's choice against Beth May from that first match. She did a good job with 2010s, I'll admit. 2010s being more recent films, I do see it's like one of those easy categories to nail down, especially since it's so broad. But I am a fan of the fact that even if she did miss a question, Kate came back with her in round 3. Like, honestly, it was kind of Kate really being the mouth. Like, if you're talking about like Frankie being a big talker, Kate was there to really like not only even the playing field, but to also make sure that Jessica focused on one thing and one thing only, and that was just do the trivia. And even though she lost, it's a sudden death loss. So I would love to see her again in another match.
Yeah, and the Great Khali isn't exactly like a mainstream name wrestler to most people. At least not to me. I don't know.
Not me neither. I mean, but I know nothing about wrestling. I know nothing about wrestling.
That's perfectly
exactly,
fine,
but you might know John Cena, you might know The Rock, you might know Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
The Great Khali, I'm thinking of him like, oh, maybe he's that guy in Happy Gilmore who's got the ball on his foot, because I don't know who these people are.
That is true.
Is he a wrestler or a football player?
Khali? Oh no, he's a wrestler. He was a wrestler in India. He got picked up later on by the same company, the same WWE company that Austin and The Rock worked for. He's even been in a couple of movies. He was in the Adam Sandler The Longest Yard film, and he was also in Get Smart. So,
okay.
Yeah, trust me. He may not be much of a vocal actor, but it's more of his presence you recognize.
Oh,
Interesting.
But Ben, your thoughts, man. I know we gave our impressions, but your impressions on just Sloth and Alvarez, man.
I mean, it was a great match. They were making things like an equal playing field. I love to see them both have like mini comebacks in this match.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see Frankie his next match. Same with Jessica. Bring it on. It was a great match.
Yeah. I do have to say that with this match, yeah, again, I mean, just like with the overtime, a wrestler question pops up. And as much as it was kind of, I won't say it felt like it was almost as if the suspects are destined to get wrestler questions if they ever go to sudden death now, which is, it's just insane. They didn't miss that first question. That was the third question. I'm sorry. But even then, yeah, the Great Khali question, I go, really? any wrestler you could pick from the longest yard, you go with him. But that's just my but I think it makes it even more tougher for a sudden death question.
Absolutely.
But it just shows when you go to sudden death, that question could be in your wheelhouse or it could be well outside your wheelhouse. It's just that luck of the draw once you get to sudden death. So that was really in Frankie's wheelhouse and really not necessarily in Jessica's. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is. So, to end it.
Okay, moving on to the final match we're going to cover. Ty vs. Josh Horowitz. I know you guys are all on this one.
Man, I gotta be honest though. The that match, that was a toss up for me between those two men. I mean, look, any rookie that gets a KO or a TKO in their first match has a lot put towards them. But Horowitz' performance against Paul Walter Hauser, I mean, going off of from his performance in the teams match with Perry against Rushmore to seeing his singles match, I'm thinking to myself, wait, did Perry get wait, was Josh Horowitz the one who, like, I didn't want to like ever question Schmoedown players' abilities, but seeing Josh's performance from that teams match to his singles matches, I'm going, he doesn't look like he's fitted for teams. He feels like he's more of a singles player.
What are your thoughts on it?
I definitely thought he could be a good teams player. Just, it was a rough match, that one match they had as the press room, especially on Perry's side. And, I'm sure she'll improve when we finally see her in singles. But Horowitz was definitely, he's looking like the steal of the draft right now. I think he was taken like very late in the draft, if I remember correctly. Like, I want to say the last of the non-televised or of the quote unquote televised rounds.
Yes.
So he's definitely been a pleasant surprise. And then you got Ty, who outside of Griffin Newman might be one of the best new combinations of character plus player that the Schmoedown got from the draft this year. Yeah. So, I mean, it was really fun match with him flicking the shrimp cocktail.
Yeah.
And having the exact same scarf on back up to trade scarves. I mean, all while putting in like such a high level, intense match. I could see this match played a bunch of times and having equal outcomes of who wins, like of it 50-50 if you played like 20 times. If you'd have 10 times Horowitz winning and 10 times Lieberman winning.
Yeah.
And I think they both can be high level players in the future.
I do agree with that as well. It was just really funny though. Like, first one was the match. I had it play in the background, so when I heard all of a sudden Mark talking about shrimp cocktails, I'm like, what? I grabbed my phone and I'm seeing that, so I rewind the match to see that. Are you kidding me? He has a fucking shrimp cocktail in his hand throughout the entire. Well, not round one though, but in round 2 and 3, I'm going. It would have been funny that he accidentally spills that sauce onto his scarf. And I would have been like, please let that have been a blooper or something that we're going to see later on.
Oh, man. Thanks, man. Now I want that in my head. Now I want to see that too.
No, I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to match the Instacart gate, but I would have loved to just Ty Lieberton do a tyrant. And then all of a sudden he's just, I just spilled some sauce.
And this definitely makes me like the most. Of all the I'm disappointed I don't get to see when they announced that the teams tournament is only going to be 8 teams. Besides Video Drew and Cybold, this is the team that I kept hearing about that I most wanted to see is Ty and Barbarian, and we'll see if they get entered or if it's Rushmore again, because I'd love to see that team, and because I think they'd be both great characters and also possibly. They might still, even if they're the team submission, do crazy damage in that tournament. So
you are 100% right. I almost forgot the time that Ty and Barbarian were announced or teased as a team, but knowing that Barbarian, he's mainly plays Inner Geekdom right now, so he's not yet to do a singles match. But I would love for this next tournament to be an inclusion of brand new teams. I mean, it's gonna fall on scheduling if it's gonna happen. But I do want to see at least maybe a couple of brand new teams involved there. If FinSoc does go back to Rushmore, okay. But can Christian just at least give us one teams match? If it doesn't even be in the tournament, but just give us maybe a teams match. Give us Ty KO, give us Ty and Barbarian. Let's see. I want to hear what the team name is, and I kind of want to see more of those Ty KO shirts that he had.
Yeah, I want to see that too.
But going back in this match, I do think that the one thing that did bring Ty down was unfortunate. I mean, it was double opponent's choice. I believe so, right?
No, it was.
I know Ty got opponent's choice.
Yes, it was. If I remember, it went video game movies, opponent's choice, which they selected video game movies, and then video game movies, opponent's choice. That's how I remember it.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, video game movies was spun 4 times, and just like with Bateman and Irwin, Kidman was spun 3 times in that match.
Right.
It's like the digital wheel is just deciding, oh, you're not going to get this. We're just going to keep sticking with this slice over and over and over again. But
no, the digital wheel is like this. I've been good for you for almost a year and a half now. You're almost time before studio matches. I'm going to fuck everything up for you right now.
yes.
Tell me, we had your time on me good. Now it's time for the studio matches.
Okay. I just went over the match in my head. It was double opponent's choice because Ty got opponents and Josh chose young adult movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's where Josh was able to at least get a steal off of him. And
no,
that did.
It wasn't a. Was it a steal?
Or maybe not. Maybe Ty just went to multiple choice a lot. But
I think it was just a couple of multiple choices. Yeah, he went to multiple choice twice. That's what it was. He was down a point going in at the end of the first round because he didn't get the one of the questions, but then Horowitz missed the bonus, so it was 8-7 at the end of the first round. Then Ty went multiple choice twice, so he was down by 3 going into the final round.
Yeah, because I think one of the questions was a Charlize Theron film, a young adult, and it was what kind of genre of books does she write?
No, that was the Schloth Alvarez match.
Jesus, wow, I'm getting both of those mixed up now because I'm trying to.
Then Schloth got it wrong, and then
Alvarez
was like, I feel like I have to answer young adult, and it was young.
Yes. Okay, then I'm sorry. I guess both of those matches are like really mixing into my head. But even then, both Ty and Josh Horowitz getting opponent's choice. Josh clearly dominates that slice of video game movies, and with Josh, yeah. And then with Ty, I mean, to be honest, looking at the discussion that Gucci and Ty was making, giving him video game movies, the fact that he did spin away from it, of course, you spin away from something, you land opponent's choice, you're thinking, oh, it doesn't look like they're going to be that confident in it, so we can get some steals off of him. Josh, the questions heavily favored Josh because the fact, not that they were surface level, but because they were very like older video game movies to where someone like Josh, who is a movie critic, has possibly seen them in his career. And then with Ty with the young adult for movies, it really was kind of a mixture of some of more recent films to films like in 2000s or so. Like it was a mixture of new and old young adult films to where you really had to really test your brain on that situation.
I have a question. I'm sorry for derailing really quick.
No,
go ahead.
In that YA slides,
Yeah.
Are there any Harry Potter questions in that?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. I don't think Harry Potter even I think Harry Potter, because it's so well known that everyone sees it immediately as kind of like a fantasy book before they think of it as a young adult book.
Okay, all right. I didn't want to ask because
no, it makes sense because it would make sense to most general movie fans or these people who know of Harry Potter of the books that, yeah, why aren't we seeing Harry Potter questions thrown into YA, in the young adult slice?
Right.
And it's mainly because like with fantasy sci-fi at the time of the old Schmoedown, and when it came to fantasy sci-fi, sometimes some Star Trek and Star Wars questions would be thrown in there, and
Right.
then it would be then you would get even more difficult Star Wars and Trek questions in IG and in the Star Wars division. So I think it just comes down to it. They want to spread it out because even now with fantasy sci-fi, even though we didn't talk too much about it for Moses' match against Moose, the fact that fantasy sci-fi is in Era Geekdom is really a wild card, as we saw with Amaru's match, just like with dystopian time travel being a wild card. Those two, and dystopian time travel, animated, and fantasy sci-fi, those three are big wild cards because you kind of want to start mixing them in with some of the other stuff, but then you really have to really look outside the box, really think, okay, with animated, what movies can we bring in here that doesn't immediately clash with DC or Marvel that we can put as superhero? Same with fantasy sci-fi. I mean, what along this entire genre of films can be clarified as like within Inner Geekdom, so then we can still have plenty more in singles matches.
Right.
And I think as far as young adult goes, I'm not sure if this is their thoughts, but at least when I think of Harry Potter or Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe, those series of books, they start off younger than young adult. I mean, they get older eventually in the books, but they start off, at least in my head,
like preteens, preteens in a way. Because Harry Potter, he's 11 in the first book. The Pen and Beast children. I know Lucy and Peter, they're at least like they are almost becoming teenagers, but Edmund and Lucy's the youngest. Susan is the second oldest. Yeah. Peter and Susan, they're like nearly teenagers, but Edmund and Lucy, they're the very youngest who start off the books that they keep going forward in.
Again, I'm sorry for you keep yelling at us. I just had that on my mind.
But it's a legitimate question to ask, especially when Schmoedown fans especially with Schmoedown fans who are very quick to go onto the comments of these YouTube pages to ask these questions as well, or onto the page itself, wanting more clarifications in this. I mean, because to be honest, Schmoedown's not making the movie list available to the public because they don't want everyone to start picking these slices apart one by one.
Right.
It has to be kept to the competitors.
Right, and that's fair. I don't know why. I don't know. No, I mean that's pretty much that match, and I think we talked about everything else. So, overall thoughts about the week.
I mean, as we said, it's Suspects Week. It put them over 500. It got them out of last place of the standings. It really, it really was a good week for the Usual Suspects.
It turned a lot of things around for them. It did.
Yeah, it did. Sam seems to know what he was doing after all. I mean,
what?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this middle of the season is showing that some of the picks that the managers that put their faith in is starting to show fruits. I mean, it can't be like with Finstock and with Kaiser, how at the start of the year their picks were showing immediate rewards.
Yeah.
With managers like Coy, Coy, Sam, even with Kate, their stuff it was more like they were late bloomers in a way.
I think the thing with Kaiser and Finstock, in my opinion, they're maybe top of the year heavy. They have all the high hitters to go after those high points in propels. They have the Walkers, they have the Brewers, they have the Pickmans. Now, in the middle of the year, now it's time for all the rookies, all the newer, younger players to play and get more points for their faction. So it's really right in the interesting part of the year, I think. This is when it gets really interesting to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely gets interesting to watch. And in the case of Finstock, everybody was, and they still should be praising the Finstock drafting with their rookies. But now they're finally running into even some of the tougher rookies. And, Newman beat Jacoby. But then this week, you had Ty losing, you had Haas losing, so it starts to be, can those rookies that started winning get over that hump and get to those deep tournament runs, those deep title runs that they really need for those points? Because they got a lot of points with individual wins, but they still haven't reached, like, I don't think they've had a single number one contender match. They definitely haven't had a title match, so they got to start really performing in that direction too.
Yeah. And because right now Alvarez winning, he is going to play up against Rick Radis, so we're definitely going to see a big test for him. And Radis, after that throwdown match against Peggy, he got a good win in sudden death. So we definitely know that Rick has been tested, not just like he's been tested to go 3 rounds. So we'll see how Frankie is going to measure up against him. And of course, with Newman after his victory against Jacoby, we're going to see who is next for him, because he does, in his interview, he does say he wants a belt, but he still has a bit of a way to go. We already got a number one contender off Irwin. Next up, we're going to determine the next number one contender between Marisol and Kevin Smith. So Griffin could possibly be one of the few other Schmoedown players next in line for another match to play for a number one contendership.
So, final thoughts. We have a collision coming up. We have an Interkingdom, Star Wars, teams, and singles match.
Yeah, all 4 divisions are going to be in the collision.
What match are you guys looking forward to the most out of those 4?
Dimolanta and Kelly.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that one because both have grown completely since their first debut matches. I mean, their first studio matches.
I'm going to say Saul versus Moses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of them, I really don't. I'm still not sure what side I'm picking, but I just think both of them really need to, like, show, this is their big match. They need to show, like, that they're ready. Besides being that number one contender match, they got to show that they're ready for that title match of them winning will get them. So,
yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really excited to see that one, especially because it's going to be, as we said, both of their first times playing in studio. And
I have to say, I'm with one of you. I don't know which one. I'm either the Star Wars or the Interkingdom. I think I'm leaning more towards the Interkingdom, only because I'm excited to see Soul play in the studio for the first time, and that's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Actually, I also have some excitement for Smith versus Marisol because we're going to see Smith in studio as well, Marisol in studio. Or if that's going to be
I think that's going to be digital.
Oh, no, it's a digital. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not. I was not up to date on which one was digital and which one was in studio. But even then,
goes digital, and then IG and Teams in studio.
Yeah.
Even then, I do have some excitement for that match because Kevin Smith, he came in as a good player. 2 wins on his belt and beat Stacy. He beats against Marisol. He's 4-0, and he'll have a number one contender shot. Marisol, as was stated before, if she wins, she's going to be the first female competitor to challenge for the belt since Clark Wolf, which has been a long, and we have not seen many female competitors challenge for that belt.
Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. In Marisol's match, you lose, right?
I know everybody's saying that, and
I don't think so. I don't believe that. Kevin Smith has great knowledge, though, but Marisol has shown that it's not as if she has deeper knowledge than Smith, but her drive is just, she's playing all out in this one.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying she's going to win.
Well, I would favor Marisol, but I would not say it's her match to lose. I am saying, I think Smith is going to put up way more of a fight than people are giving him credit for.
Yeah. For Marisol,
people are acting like it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be a TKO. I think it's going to be much closer than that.
No, Kevin Smith has put up good numbers in round 1, 2, and 3. He's not weak in any round, honestly. Like he doesn't even hit below 60 or 70%. He's always like somewhere within 1 or 2 point range after every round.
I forget. Is this a 5-rounder or a 3-rounder?
It's a 3-rounder.
Okay, yeah, okay.
The only time it's ever a 5-rounder is when it's a championship match or a tournament finals match.
Okay. 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 Yeah, yeah, I'm with you, AC. I think it's going to be closer than everyone thinks. But I still think Marisol takes it. That's my guess.
I'm pulling for. It's really torn between two of them. I want to see Marisol get that win, but unfortunately, as a anti-corruption stan, I don't want to see Shannon win. But I do want to see. This is nothing against people. I just there's something about corruption that just gets under my skin.
I get it. They're the heels. You have to.
Yeah, I'm buying into the wrestling aspect. I'm not rooting for the heels.
I get it. I get it. Hey, and going into that, it's really the team's match is good versus evil. Is Shazam versus corruption.
The two top teams, like if back and forth. If Shazam wins, they'll defend the championships. Obviously, being one of the few teams who win the team's championships and defend them. But if Corruption wins, it's going to add another notch to Mike's record and history legacy to the Schmoedown, winning the team's championships for a third time.
Yeah.
In my opinion, whoever wins is the greatest team of all time.
That is a good...
over somebody like the Patriots or Fireworks.
Yeah, I think they got the records. They got in terms of win-loss record, they got the records. They have the now maybe for corruption side, maybe you might want them to defend, but with Shazam, that'll be a defense. And I think they have the records. They got the accuracy. They got the competition that it wasn't at that level it was at with the Patriots. So
they'll definitely be in that conversation without doubt. Like it's going to be a constant, ever-changing rotation. Of course, everyone with the Patriots, they're going to put their record as always. But even then, with the Schmoedown growing and evolving, the Shire Wolves, Shazam, even Founding Fathers, and Corruption, and Odd Couple deserve their place in that conversation.
Well, let's see what happens. I'm excited. I'm excited to see this collision. Mm-hmm. On that note, we passed the 1 hour mark. Yeah. So I think we should wrap it up here. ASG, where can everybody find you?
You can just find me roaming around Twitter or giving my opinions anywhere randomly. So yeah, my Twitter is agolds82, and occasionally I still might post some things elsewhere, but yeah, that's mostly where you can find me.
Okay, cool. Ryan, how about you, my man?
Well, obviously, you can find me here on Schmoes the North Network, running the co-piloting ship with Ben on Mount Schmoedown. Check out our episode yesterday where we talked about Mark and Draco's career. We had Soda, fellow Canadian, fellow brother of the Schmoes of the North, join us for the conversation. And we have something definitely planned up very nicely upcoming for July that I think that we hope y'all are going to enjoy. And also, you'll see me every random Schmoedown night in Canada. I mean, heck, I may start knocking more on Frenchie's door about looking to get more involved with some more Schmoes in the North shows. If not, you just see me here, Schmoes Night in Canada and Mount Schmoedown.
Yeah, you can find me wherever Ryan said. Also on my Twitter at Ben_Radio. I'm all over the place. You can find me. And from the Sunday crew and the Schmoes of the North, have a good week, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.